Good evening, all of you. Former Vice President of India, Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji, a mentor to many like me. Venkaiah ji has seen Indian politics, parliament, governance. Many have not seen that way. I recollect the day 2 decades ago when I saw time and called on him. So when his phone came, if I could consider. Now, sometimes when people of such stature say consider, it is the ultimate mandate. That's how I am here. Honorable Governor of Haryana, Shri Dattatreya ji, a man committed to social cause, an humble man. Shri P.S. Ramamohan Rao ji, 1956 batch IPS officer, former governor of Tamil Nadu, the author. Sir, there are not many in your league at the moment. 1956. I was thinking of going to school in the village in class 1 at that point of time. That speaks volumes of the experience he has. Distinguished members of parliament, Dr. K. Keshav Rao ji, Shri Y.S. Chaudhary, Padam Shri Y. Lakshmi Prasad, former member Rajya Sabha, Shri Shashidhar Reddy, former chairman NMDC, Dr. N. Bhaskar Rao, chairman Center for Media, and members of the steel frame from the IS and IPS. Distinguished audience, ladies and gentlemen. Very frankly, it is an honor to me. It's a privilege for me. It's a moment to ever cherish that I am being associated with the release of Governor Pet to Governor's House, a Higgs Odyssey. Let me betray my mind. When I initially thought of Governor Pet to Governor's House, my mind was activated. I had crazy ideas in my mind. What is meant by Governor Pet? Till I came to know it is geographically located area. I gave a stop to byzed thoughts. Otherwise, it would have been very interesting. Governor Pet to Governor's House. I wish to commend the author for his vision and efforts to document what I consider a very comprehensive account of his distinguished public service journey since 1956, when he joined the Indian Police Force. Shri P.S. Ramamohan Rao, he to his college friends, has traversed 6 decades in public service, exemplifying sublime commitment to duty, effecting ever furtherance of public interest. And what could be greater endorsement of this than Venkaiah Naidu ji saying so? Governor Pet to Governor's House, a Higgs Odyssey, encapsulates a long, eventful, and adventurous journey and experience of the author, insightfully revealing his passion and mission, his positioning as the DGP, Andhra Pradesh, when it was united, and Governor Tamil Nadu are high mark of accomplishments. The book, with no pretensions of literary pompousness, yields to seamless reading, and on several aspects, it is rarely informative. I'll come to that later. The information that the book has is very rare and unique, and it's ever inspirational. For one good reason which Venkaiah has highlighted. As a matter of fact, he has made it non-negotiable. Integrity, commitment, and nationalism, they are not optional. They are compulsive. A well-informed and knowledgeable person, and mind you, one who spends that long life in intelligence bureau, has to be informed of those areas which elude us. In impeccable language, he has penned a mosaic of memories with characteristic candor and reflecting on important historical events and facets of bureaucratic functioning during his long distinguished career. Let me share with you what is given in the book. And very few people get that opportunity. The country had the honor of having APJ Abdul Kalam as president of this country. But how Kalam Sahib became a candidate, it has been narrated. It is narrated in the book. Insightful details are available. The distinguished author has not been a witness. He has been beyond a witness to the selection. And if I may say so, he had the honor and the privilege to catalyze it, maybe by chance. The book also reveals his rigidity, which you can see from his body language also occasionally. Uncompromising conscience, uncompromising, and commitment to public good. The book will for sure enrich our knowledge and enhance our understanding of bureaucratic functioning, as also challenges of the constitutional office of the governor. The challenges he faced, I'll come a little later. But the way he did it was remarkable. Eminent author has been part of governance, bureaucracy for decades and has reflected on the dynamics of relationship between the civil servants and political executives. I have seen it myself. This relationship is turning out to be a challenge. The steel frame, the bureaucracy, has come to be so ingratiated with the political masters that 1968 rules that govern your conduct are more often than not in complete breach. Soothing to note, and this I am greatly touched, because at the end of the day, if we have to contribute for humanity, the premise has to be the family. From the book I could gather, and the book authentically reveals his focus on family and his differently abled son. And there have been junctures in his life where he had to take tough decisions. There were various options available. After going through the book, I dare say he went the right path, the path of Gita. One is bound to be inspiringly motivated after being exposed from the book how traditional family system, this is another facet of our civilizational ethos. This is another facet which has come to our country by thousands of years of growth. You will get enough inkling in the book about it, that traditional family system turns out to be a spinal support system in challenging environment. And as a matter of fact, hand-holding during COVID was reflective of this. Rao Sahib came from a family that are connect with freedom movement led by Gandhiji then. The distinguished author has demonstrated his unflinching commitment to nationalism and democratic values, so richly herited. He has been part of the growth story of this country from 1956, and now we are in Amritkal. His life journey and commendable accomplishments are bound to be motivational and inspirational, particularly for our youth, whom I call warriors of 2047. They will translate our hopes and aspirations as to what India will be when we celebrate in 2047 our centenary of independence. Friends, I share certain things in common with him. I have been governor, so has he been. He also had a lady chief minister, strong personality. I too was privileged to have Mamtaji as chief minister. We both had to deal with politicians of that caliber. Of course, we are easily outclassed by the former Prime Minister, Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. He dealt with three. He dealt with Jayalalitha ji, Mamta ji, and Maya ji. All three women politicians who have impacted political firmament of this country very effectively. We both could not complete our term for different reasons. I had to yield to be here, and he had to yield to his conscience. But if you go through the book, it was not a single day. It was not knee-jerk. It was well thought out. I am greatly touched by the conversation he had about this very issue with the Honorable Home Minister, who was at variance with the Honorable Prime Minister. They had shared moments, and this is how he could not complete. But we shall always be proud of him. He yielded to call of conscience. He did not cling to the office. He could have easily done that. Another thing on which I may be making a tall claim, but his claim is 100% vindicated. We both acted with scrupulous, meticulous adherence to constitutional provisions. It takes a lot of courage to say, after demitting office, that there never was an occasion to deviate from constitutional prescriptions. I was lucky when I said initially, Venkaiah Naidu, ji, mentor to many, including me, I was getting constant guidance. Very mature guidance, very mature counsel. And now I can say before him, every word which I have penned down, every public statement which I have issued, no rancor, no reaction, no adversarial position. In the most decorous way, my point was put across. In this, I am outclassed by Mr. Rao. He did it far more effectively. Another thing in which I think the only governor in the country who has been lucky, and इसमें देखना पड़ेगा कि इनका जादू कितना कमाल का है. I pay tribute to him. A governor is required to address the assembly under Article 176. And the governor is required, as per practice, to read out the address given by the government. I have done it on 3 occasions. On all the 3 occasions, the Honorable Chief Minister was not sure whether I would be so doing or not. In the process, the Honorable Chief Minister forgot that I had people who could guide me enlighten me, and there could be no question of deviation. But in his case, and perhaps in the Indian parliamentary history, that's a singular case, perhaps I'm saying, he writes to the chief minister or sends a message, can I edit your draft? It is written in the book. And he must have been stunned and startled very pleasantly. He got a call, yes, you may do. He did it. But what is more remarkable, let me tell you, the change he made did not sacrifice the underlying essence. He changed the form. He changed the vituperation. He took out the sting, but not the direction. As per the book, what he did, there were several passages, and they could be hurtful for the opposition. Otherwise, he changed it. I quote what he did. After all the traumatic events of last 1 year, I welcome Selvi Jayalalitha back as CM of Tamil Nadu, unquote. He conveyed everything. But a governor who got that privilege. And that is why, when Jayalalitha ji came back to power, she had on her radar Mr. Rao, in a positive sense, to get his assistance. Friends, as has been indicated by Venkaiah Naidu ji, India is on the rise as never before. The rise is unstoppable. Global relevance and recognition of the nation is at a level as never before. The rise, as indicated by him, comes with challenges from within and without. It is here the intelligentsia and the people come into picture. We all need to be cognizant of emergence of incubators and distributors of anti-Indian forces orchestrating pernicious narratives to downsize our growth trajectory and taint our functional democracy and constitutional institutions. It is imperative that we all believe in our nation and nationalism and engage in neutralizing such misinterpreters. Friends, the essence, or if I may say nectar, of democracy is that all are similarly accountable to law. No one can have privileged consideration by law. Democracy will cease to exist if between A and B, A will be looked by law through a different prism than B. Be you so high, the law is always above you, is known to us all. There can be no such privileges. There can be no enforcement of these privileges. The rigors of law have to apply to all. We must believe in this. Some people unfortunately think they are different. They have to be dealt by law differently. Ours is most vibrant, functional democracy. Equality is something which we can never negotiate. Adherence to law is not optional. Some people have to realize it. Intelligentsia and media have to see a lot of meaning in it. In democracy, dynamics of governance would always be challenging, requiring harmonized functioning of constitutional institutions. It will always happen. The legislature, the executive, the judiciary, there will always be issues. We will never have a day when we can say henceforth there will be no issues. Because we are a dynamic society, it is bound to happen. There is no room for confrontation or being a complainant by those who head these institutions. Those who are heading executive, legislature, or judiciary They cannot be complainants. They cannot act in confrontation. They have to act in collaboration and find resolution in tandem and togetherness. I have been thinking for a long time and saying so, that there is need for a structured mechanism amongst those at the helm of these institutions, the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive. And such structured mechanism of interaction will go a long way. Those who head these institutions cannot use their platforms for a dialogue with the other institution. I have no doubt, I have been saying for a long time, it is the primacy of our constitution, and I say without fear of contradiction, having studied Constituent Assembly debates, examined the constitution of the countries where democracy blossoms and flourishes. It is the primacy of our constitution that determines the stability, harmony, and productivity of democratic governance. And Parliament, reflecting the mandate of the people, is the ultimate and exclusive architect of the Constitution. A Constitution has to evolve from the people through Parliament. A Constitution cannot evolve from the executive. The executive has no role in evolving Constitution. And no other institution, including the judiciary, has any role to evolve Constitution. Constitution evolution has to take place in Parliament, and there can be no super body to look into that. It has to end with Parliament. Democratic values and public interest are optimally served when the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive discharge their respective obligations, scrupulously confining to their domain and acting in harmony, togetherness, and tandem. This is quintessence. Any transgression of this will create a problem for democracy. It is not being possessive about powers. It is being possessive about powers given to us by the Constitution. And that is a challenge we all have to collectively face and harmoniously discharge. Friends, I had the occasion to go through the book, and many people had reflected on the personality of Mr. Rao. Justifiably, the eminent author received accolades from significant and varied quarters. One was, "You are a people's governor," unquote. He is. We all agree with this. A veteran journalist reflected, I quote, "Your memorial lecture was excellent." I'm quoting the journalist. A journalist from your area, a journalist who knew you well, and mind you, those who know us very well are not very kind. They are very difficult judge. We fear their judgment. I quote, "Your memorial lecture was excellent. In fact, I never imagined I qualified. He should have known. But we overlook it. In fact, I never imagined that you could speak so well. You spoke like an economics professor or an able former finance minister or a Nani Palkiwala. You were able to reel off without any effort so many facts and figures in an address of 90 minutes, unquote." He further goes on to say, "The last 2 days your speech was talk of the town." Rightly so. Now that we know the man, I know the man, having been introduced by Venkaiah Naidu ji, and his book. Google, I agree with Venkaiah ji. Actually, I have no one to agree with Venkaiah ji. I bow down to what Venkaiah ji feels. Google is a guru, but not that guru that who should be guiding us. I bear out the observations reflected in the book in June 2004 by former member of Union Planning Commission. And I say so. I bear out why. I have had the occasion to meet the former governor of Tamil Nadu, personally interacted with him. So what the former member of the Union Planning Commission said in 2004, I quote, "It was a pleasure to have met you the other day. As I used to say often, it was intellectual treat." It was. I can assure you all, the book would be the same. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude my address by once again commending the author for his initiative and in writing a book of this nature. By nature is daunting. We will try to figure out where he has not revealed the full aspect consciously, where he has tried to hide the identity. IB people are very good at it. But then if we scratch our brains, use artificial intelligence, perhaps we might have interesting details by reading the book between the lines. Governor's Pet to Governor's House, Hicks Odyssey will be worth your time, ladies and gentlemen, and I recommend it all to all. Jai Hind.